The Chiefs have officially made it through the first week of free agency, and two former players are still available on the market. Those two players are linebacker Willie Gay and defensive end Charles Omenihu. And in this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on a potential reunion for those two players. You guys are listening to the KC Sports Report. My name is Michael Darcy. Hit that like button on this video and subscribe to this channel for more of the best daily Chiefs content on YouTube. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's question. And that question is if the Chiefs should re-sign linebacker Willie Gay Jr. and defensive end Charles Omenihu. I asked that question over on my Twitter at KC Sports Report. You guys can go answer there or comment down below what you guys think. This is very interesting because after the first, second, and really third wave of free agency, a lot of these players don't get signed for a while. And Willie Gay Jr. and Charles Omenihu fit that category of solid players that just didn't get picked up in the first week of free agency. And I think for a large part of that, that's just due to both of these players underperforming, and Charles Omenihu's had an injury history. And when you add all of that together, they're not going to get multi-year deals, with, tens of millions of dollars in guaranteed money. And I think that initially that's what both of these players wanted, but that's just not what the market has for those two players in store. And we're actually going to go ahead and show what Charles Omenihu is listed on Spot Track. His calculated market value for next season is $11.8 million a season. That is an average annual salary. And his market value contract projection is a 4-year deal worth over $47 million. And I just don't know if any team out there is going to give Charles Omenihu that type of money over a 4-year period when he's had an injury history. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, whether it's due to suspension or that ACL injury. He has missed a lot of time in Kansas City. And so I could see why a team wouldn't be super eager to give him a massive contract. But I actually had the opportunity to talk to Charles Omenihu at the Super Bowl earlier this year, and he talked about his relationship with, the guys on the defensive line and how much he loves being in Kansas City. And I'm actually going to go ahead and play that interview right here.
Could you talk a little bit about your relationship with Chris Jones and some of the other guys on the defensive line?
Yeah, no, it's a great relationship. These guys, when I came here, they were all they've all been with each other for a while. So they opened the D-line room to me with open arms, and they've been great and amazing to me.
And when you came back, the defensive line just started producing even more. What type of energy do you bring to that room that just everyone else feeds off of?
I just have that in the voice in the room that just wants everybody to get to the quarterback. I always tell Joe, bro, put the game in the D-line's hand. The blitzes are cool, the skies, all good, but at the end of the day, you got 4 D-linemen that can go get it. So I kind of try and push that to the room, be why not we be the ones that just take over the whole game, that's my mentality.
Charles, most player on the defense never faced Saquon Barkley. How do you prepare for someone that you never faced?
Watch film. That would probably be the biggest thing. I've never gone against him either. This is my first time, so just watching film. That's all you really can do for real.
So he's a great guy to talk to. He gave me some really insightful answers. But if I'm just answering that question, if the Chiefs should re-sign Charles Omenihu, I'm all for it. I think the Chiefs need some more depth on their defensive line. You saw they made some moves, but they really didn't address the defensive end position. And I think that they are going to go out in this year's draft class and find somebody. But if you have the opportunity to sign Charles Omenihu to a 1 or a 2-year deal, give him $15 to $20 million, you could probably get him for even less. That average annual salary, according to Spot Track, says $11.8 million a year. He's not going to get that. He is not going to get that 4-year, $47 million contract that he's projected. I think the injury history, I think the lack of production because he's just not been on the field. When you put all of that together, he is an affordable player the Chiefs should be all over. And if he is your 3 or 4th defensive end, you're doing something right. And so I am all for bringing back Charles Omenihu on a shorter team-friendly deal. And I think that he is someone that wants to be back in Kansas City. You saw him basically, lose his mind on the sideline when he had the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl when the Chiefs beat, the Bills in the AFC Championship game. And obviously, he had to be consoled when the Chiefs ended up losing that Super Bowl. So I think he could come back and have some unfinished business. And I also think he's just one of those locker room guys that you just want to have. And so if the contract's right, as long as he continues to get passed on by other teams in free agency, I think that's a good sign on him potentially returning next year and potentially in 2027 as well. So before we talk about Willie Gay and if he's going to come back, if he's going to find his way back in Kansas City, let's hear from our sponsors. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the Rice Real Estate Group, Kansas City's premier partner in real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, you'll receive a tailored experience designed just for you. Specializing in residential, commercial, and investment properties, the dedicated team over at the Rice Real Estate Group helps guide you through every transaction, including navigating those short, complex sales. With a commitment to personal one-on-one service, they will ensure that you are supported every step of the way. You can achieve your goals with expertise, care, and a customized approach that truly makes a difference. Ready to make your next move? The Rice Real Estate Group is here to make it happen. For more information, call 816-819-9333. Huge shout out to the sponsors that support this channel all off season long. But getting back into the main portion of this video, I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below if the Chiefs should re-sign one of these players, both of these players, because I definitely think that they should go out and bring back defensive end Charles Omenihu. But with that being said, let's talk about former linebacker Willie Gay. Now, I looked up Willie Gay's, average salary estimation on Spot Track, and I actually didn't get anything. This is all that showed up. His career earnings, he's made a little over $8 million in his career, and the bulk of that came with the Chiefs. Now, like most Chiefs, he ended up leaving Kansas City and going to New Orleans. You just saw Justin Reed sign with the Saints, Tyrann Mathieu, Tano Passanio, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The list goes on and on. New Orleans is essentially Kansas City, Kansas City's B team. But I think the Chiefs are in a position where they can bring Willie Gay back. And if he's your fourth linebacker, you've done a fantastic job. If Willie Gay is only in on obvious passing downs where he can drop back into coverage better than a Nick Bolton, you're in a really good spot. And he's going to be cheap, and he's made it to this point in free agency. He is not going to command that much. But if you've seen, Brett Veach always likes to bring back former players that have familiarity with this defense, with this system. Derek Nottie, who just signed elsewhere, I believe it was the Jets, he'd been here for 7 years. And I think that most of us could agree that Derek Nottie was not this great defensive tackle, but he knew the system, he was cheap, and it just worked out. And right now, there's not really a market for Willie Gay. And that really works in the Chiefs' advantage because you can go out and say, hey, Willie, we want you back on this team. We'll give you a 1 or 2 year deal, kind of a prove it deal, but also he can fit in very nicely as depth on this team. You don't have to go with Jack Cochran as your fourth linebacker if you have Willie Gay. And I think that is a huge improvement. And I'm at the point, if the Chiefs go out, in the next couple of days and they sign Charles Omenihu and they re-sign Willie Gay, if they brought back both of those players, the Chiefs nailed free agency. They just nailed it because you can go into the draft genuinely having very little holes, and you can take the best player available. If the Chiefs have to go into the draft and reach for a player because they need a left tackle, they need a running back, they need a wide receiver, that's not going to be a very good spot for them. And so if you can go into this 2025 NFL draft and not be super needy, that's a really good thing. So, in my opinion, the Chiefs should absolutely look into signing, Charles Omenihu and Willie Gay Jr. It just makes sense. They know the defense. Steve Spagnuolo obviously loves them. And I think that their skill set fits into what the Chiefs currently lack on their defense. So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. What do you think of the idea of bringing back one or both of these players? And who do you think the Chiefs should bring back in this second week of free agency? Because the good thing for the Chiefs is as these players go unsigned, they're going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And I'm not sure if these guys are going to get signed after the NFL draft, which is a possibility because teams are kind of set right now and they'll know where their deficiencies are after the draft. I think it would be beneficial for the Chiefs to get something done now, and then you are fully good. You're locked in. You've got these guys on your roster, and then going into the draft, you can just mess around and take the best player available. So, Chiefs Kingdom, that is all the time I have in this video. That's all I've got. Hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel for more daily Chiefs coverage. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. And as always, go Chiefs.